You wake up because a rat is licking the sweat off your foot. Not the worst thing that's licked you lately, so you don't kick it. Instead, you roll onto your side, shifting the itchy straw bedding and bumping into someone else's elbow. 8 of you share this room, if you can call a wooden box crammed with half-rotted hay and breath-thick air a room. There's no light but the crack under the door, no privacy, no silence. Just the endless chorus of sleep farts, teeth grinding, and someone whispering prayers to a God who clearly stopped listening. You lie there a minute, blinking the sleep from your eyes, ears picking out the familiar rhythms. The slap of feet on dirt, the scrape of a chamber pot lid, the short, sharp hiss of someone cursing a bite. You don't remember falling asleep. You never do. Sleep comes like a dropped curtain, brief and dark and never long enough. The walls sweat in the summer, crack in the winter. The floor is packed dirt, alive with fleas and shame. There are no pillows, only bundled rags, lice-ridden and damp from someone's fevered dreams. You've learned to keep your hands close when you sleep. Too many fingers have vanished into the night, chewed or stolen. The roof creaks like an old man coughing. You piss in a pot. It's full already. If you're caught dumping it in daylight again, you'll get the switch. Last time it was Lucia who took the blame. She couldn't sit properly for 3 days. You thanked her with half a fig and the only smile you'd spared in a week. Lucia's already up, rubbing ash under her arms to kill the stench. Doesn't help. Nothing helps. You all reek. Sweat, oil, piss, garlic. Yours, the master's, and the ones before you. The smell clings like shame. 2 beds over, Morrow hums tunelessly as he scratches at his ankles. There's a crust of dried blood under his nails. Someone coughs and the room stirs like an animal. You stretch. Something in your spine pops. You don't care if it's serious. You'd rather die than mop another atrium floor, but you won't. You never do. You survive like mold. The door slams open. Light floods the room like accusation. A silhouette blocks the sun. "Up," says the overseer. He doesn't need to yell. You're already moving. You always are. Breakfast is a lie. They eat bread dipped in honey. You get yesterday's porridge, reheated if you're lucky. Today it's cold. You scoop it with your fingers and try not to taste it. It tastes like goat spit and chalk. Lucius, the kitchen overseer, slaps a boy for sneezing near the flour bag. The boy doesn't cry, just bleeds a little from the mouth. He'll finish sweeping after. You eat fast. You eat quiet. A slave who lingers is a slave who's whipped. Lucius eyes you like you're planning to steal figs. Again, you are... They're the small green ones, split open like tiny mouths. You dream about their sweetness more than sex. Once, someone found a bone in the gruel. We passed it around, sniffing it like perfume. Speak only when spoken to, except when you're supposed to guess the master's needs before he remembers he has them. You empty chamber pots still steaming with the morning's wine shits. You polish bronze that no one will touch. You scrub vomit off mosaic tiles. You bow. You say, "Yes, Domina." You say, "Of course, Damus." You say, "Thank you for the correction," when she slaps you for not folding the tunic the right way. Correction. That's what they call it when they hit you. You smile with your mouth, never your eyes. Today the master forgets your name and calls you boy. You're 27. A young noble guest asks for his sandals, throws one at your face when it doesn't fit. He laughs like it's a performance. You bow deeper. Mid-morning is heat and humiliation. You haul buckets from the cistern to the baths. You fan a senator's mistress while she soaks in perfumed water and calls you it. You wipe oil and hair from the marble. She jokes that her dog has softer hands than you. The others laugh. You do not. You are not allowed. You clean the triclinium. Yesterday's feast was excessive. Quails stuffed with grapes, wine dyed blue, a poet whining about love while everyone else sucked on oysters. You licked grease from a discarded fig skin when no one was looking. You were hungry. You are always hungry. You refill the oil lamps. One spills. You scrub the spot for an hour until the stain fades, or until you convince yourself it does. Domina orders you to carry her lapdog through the garden. The dog licks your face. You must pretend it's an honor. You are a house slave, which means you're lucky. Lucky not to be chained in a field with a scythe and sunstroke. Lucky not to be thrown in the ludus to bleed for sport. Lucky not to be a woman tasked with entertaining guests. You still get hit. Still get groped. Still get called by the name of the one who died before you and buried in an unmarked ditch. There are levels. The steward wears a belt. The cook gets a key. You get splinters. But you're alive. You are allowed to wear a tunic. You sleep indoors. Mostly, they parade in silk and stench. Perfume covers their rot. They drip with gold and tell each other how virtuous they are. They quote Stoics while spitting olives into your hands. Your master writes verses about freedom. He reads them to guests while you scrub his feet. His son wants to be a philosopher. He says pain is an illusion. You resist the urge to stab him with a hairpin. You are not a person. You are a backdrop. You are the furniture that bleeds. The mistress has a smile like vinegar. Her favorite pastime is finding new ways to humiliate you. She calls you clever when she means uppity. You play dumb. You play dead. You survive. You do not speak. Your thoughts are dangerous. You nod. You bow. You whisper jokes only when the overseer is out of earshot. Sometimes you and Lucia trade insults in Greek just for the thrill. She once said the master's poetry made her uterus shrink. You nearly choked on a date pit trying not to laugh. You talk with your eyes. That is all you have. Once, in a quiet moment, an old man whispered to you in Hebrew. You didn't understand, but you nodded. That was enough. A stolen fig, a breeze in the kitchen, a whispered insult, a glance of understanding, a hand brushing yours when no one is looking. Lucia shares half an olive. It tastes like rebellion. You are not allowed joy, so you make it. Tiny, bitter, secret joy. You are not a citizen. You are not a person. You cannot marry. You cannot own. You cannot testify. You can be raped without crime, killed without consequence. You are res, a thing, property, like a broom but less respected. The law says if you kill your master, the whole household dies. Guilt is shared like bread. If the master dies, you might be freed, or sold, or buried with him. Depends how sentimental he's feeling. Your tunic is stiff with sweat. Your hair is crawling. You wash and run off. Your nails are black. Your skin is cracked. But you must appear clean. Your master's status is reflected in how unfilthy you look. So you scrape, rub, pluck, and oil. You rub vinegar on your arms. You smile through lice. Lucia pulls a worm from her leg. She laughs. You do too. When the inspectors come, you are paraded like a well-kept horse. The master smiles. You do not. You dream of running, of living in the hills with wolves, You dream of manumission, of being called by your real name, not the one they gave you because it sounded nice in Latin. You dream of knives in soft places. You imagine walking into a tavern, sitting, being served. Mostly, you dream of sleep. 13. Sleep. Night comes like mercy, except it's never enough. You lie in the straw, curled around your own ribs. You itch. You ache. Your hands throb from scrubbing, lifting, being. Someone is crying. Someone is snoring. Someone is already dead, probably. You think about tomorrow. You wish you wouldn't. But you will. You always do.